fastball. In 6 weeks' time, it's the 10th anniversary of Interstellar. And I think it's being re-released in theaters in 70mm IMAX.
And IMAX.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did that movie change you? It's my favorite movie of all time. So thank you for...
I have a lot of people tell me that that's their favorite movie of all time. And that's another that a lot of people had to go watch 4 times.
There's a lot to take in.
There's a lot to take in.
Classic Nolan.
Yeah. How did it change me? And you're not talking about like the success of the movie, being like the subject material and everything else.
Either working with Christopher, learning about, Kip Thorne, fucking the consultant physicist on that show, so much stuff.
Well, also, it was in that sense, it was similar to when I did a movie called Contact, and I got to sit with Carl Sagan for 3.5 hours. And he went through, and I remember walking away from that going, oh my gosh, as a believer, God's backyard's a whole lot bigger than I thought it was, which is a very humbling and empowering thought. Look, the main thing was, I think, on the human side of the real. Me personally, I was like, oh, you don't leave your kids to go do what your dream is. And then when I changed what your dream is to go do what you were meant to do, what you were born to do, that you have an ability to do like nobody else. I was like, ooh, well, maybe you do leave your kid. That argument and that leaving, which is that countdown, I remember that's where I was. So that's the scene I'm remembering, is the price you pay, the cost, the consequence of chasing down. And my initial thought was, oh, Cooper's being selfish in the wrong way. And then it's a good argument, though. I don't think you can easily say that. There's a major consequence with that, but look at what. And I deal with it now. I got 3 kids doing my favorite job. But I think I find extreme and endless purpose in parenting. But I'm dabbling in different versions of leadership that have to do with the betterment, maybe, I hope, of more people. But it would become a consequence of being there and being present like I want to be for my 3 children and my wife as our family. I haven't found anything that I believe is worth that at the sacrifice of this yet. And my argument with myself there is the best exports we can have, if we do it well, is our children. No better export you can put out, no better extension of yourself, no better way to, affect,
create legacy,
the world, than hopefully having some healthy children that can go be independent enough and you taught them when they see the world in the right way and can chase down things that they love, and they hopefully love the right things.
So contributing to anything in place of that is a net negative.
Well, that'd be my argument at the sacrifice of fewer that I feel like, oh, that's my lineage. I've got it. I'm helping give them the palette to paint on, and I'm handing the right colors to them and letting them fall from the right heights to the right trees, to where they get bruised, but hopefully don't break a neck. You know what I mean? But it's a good argument, one that I understand on the other side, and I have friends that have sacrificed that. I have friends that have been very successful, even in the career of being an actor in Hollywood, and a successful actor in Hollywood. This brings me back to when we first had kids, before Camila pulled the goalie to get pregnant. She goes, one condition: you go, we go. And my first reaction was, hey, I'm lone wolf artist here, man. I go off my Airstream with my dog. I'm a solo, coyote here, man. And while I'm saying that, I heard my mother's voice go, you better nod your head and say, she's giving you a gift. Say, yes, ma'am. And I did, yes, ma'am. And that, we've done that. I have a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, and an 11-year-old. No doubt that has a major contribution to how to whatever strength our family is. And I think our family is very strong, and the security that my kids have and the courage that they have, that because we've never been away from each other that long. They picked up, came with. There's another side. I understand you got opportunities that can do great things. And I can share art or leadership in the world that, hey, I'm going to be away. And maybe there's an argument that could be better for your children later on, or maybe better for their children.
But this is we were talking about that infinite regress of being mean to yourself, or it's emotions about emotions and stuff. Thinking about the decision that Cooper needs to make and also the decision that you need to make. You can always continue to kid yourself a little bit more. Is it more virtuous to stay at home with your children, to raise your children, despite the fact that the likelihood of them surviving into the future and their kids surviving into the future is lessened by that? Okay, but then if you go and do the thing, you leave them, you're making that sacrifice. But are you doing it because you want to save the world, or are you doing it because it's your dream? Or the fact that you can get something virtuous out of something that's also your dream is that fucking Puritan work ethic we were talking about before, which is the only way that this can be a virtuous decision is if I suffer more. It's only suffering, not just that it's good for the future, but also that I don't want to do it, because if I don't want to do it, then I know that it's really, really true, because it's a high price that I pay.
Because go pull it off.
And this is, as far as I can see, the curse of the deep thinker.
Amen. 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 A curse and gift. Because it does do one thing that we hadn't brought up at a very base level. And I think this goes along with stress, anxiety. At the very base, it means in something that we can't take for granted because not everyone has it. It means you give a damn.
Yes.
And let's not throw that out like, oh, of course no, and like, because not everybody does. It means you give a damn about more than just yourself, and that is that's a high end value and not an old fashioned nostalgic thing to go, oh, that's so 1950s bullshit. That's a real thing.
So some people can't care, or some people struggle to care about things.
Yeah.
There are entire people that go through their lives. It's odd, especially in the UK, loving things, being too keen. Right, Americans kind of have permanent first-line cocaine energy.
Yeah.
They're very excitable.
Yeah.
And I like it. I like excitable people. I like enthusiasm. However, the UK doesn't necessarily have that quite so much. And I always think how much I wish I could gift that back to the UK, but how much that positive reinforcement, we were saying it before, that first scene that you do, and the guy next to you goes, hey, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The right encouraging word, the right time. Where would that push people to? And okay, if that's what you want for you in the world, you have the opportunity to be that for other people, and maybe it's going to start to come back around, and maybe we can begin to change culture a little bit by doing this.
When will that English, or does it have someone, though, that is constantly like, bullocks, that goes and succeeds, that the English culture goes, fucking bravo.
Rarely.
Does it ever?
Rarely. So, interesting stat around the UK. Globally, so far in 2024, the UK has the second highest number of millionaire exits on Earth.
What's a millionaire exit?
A millionaire that has left the country and is now living in a different,
a
different nation. China first, 15,000. UK second, 9,500. But the UK is 3% of the population of China. So pro rata, we have got by far the most millionaires leaving. By far. We do not have a good culture around supporting success, around people doing different things. Another great example of this, the UK has got 2 or 3 universities in the top 10 in the world, as does America. So it'll be Oxford, Cambridge, maybe King's or Durham in the UK, and there'll be Yale, Princeton, Harvard, something else in the US, and a couple of others. And we have 20% the number of startup founders, despite the fact that we have the same number of university graduates going from top flight universities. Why? Culture. But speaking of that, what did you learn? You did The Gentleman with Guy.
Yeah.
You spent a good bit of time, presumably, enmeshing yourself into British culture. What did you learn while you were there?
Well, So there is still a royal dance to play the part and do, and that I found that interesting and quite entertaining. I remember, that everything there's a costume and a timing, and who goes here when, and here's how you sit there, and this is how we do this, and I found it very interesting and
pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, it was all there, and I indulged and played that part and enjoyed.
Bit of whimsy.
Now, when I went out and they saw that I was actually a very good shot at pheasants, I got a few. Hey, I got a few attaboys.
Bring the American over here.
Hey, we like you now, right?
It's good with guns.
And then I remember this one though, where the I think the term is where the posh went overboard, but nobody seemed to notice it but me. And we were at this dinner, and it was one of those dinners where 24 people on this side, 24 people on this side. Mrs. is down there and Mr.'s down here. Mrs. has a 24-foot by 18-foot oil painting of herself over her chair, and Mr. has an 24-foot by 18-foot over his chair. And it was just it's just all just fucking great. Everyone had their own waiter that saw ding on time, and this is just absolutely great. Well, after the dinner, the youngsters, the sons and the daughters had come over with their friends, and they were also posh to smoke a cigarette, yes. And I remember this one get flicking the ash. There's an ashtray right down the table, boom, on the carpet. And I was like, dude. And without even saying it, he's like, no, man, it's more posh. I'm posturing. It's cooler to go. I can drop my ash on your $550,000 Persian rug than it is to put it in the ashtray. And I was like, well, that one, I think y'all went overboard. I think you went out of bounds on that one. But the fact that it was a big gamesmanship, but they were doing it and consistently.
Isn't it fascinating? The Americans are basically blind to class. You've had to use the word posh almost in speech marks there.
Right.
It's like a word that
yeah.
There is not a single school child that doesn't use the word posh in primary school once a day in England. Everybody
it means class?
It means this person is well-to-do from a well-to-do background.
Okay.
And there's, I remember there was a guy that I played cricket with. Cricket's still a working class sport in the UK. It's not necessarily upper class. It's a very working class town. There was a kid who got A-class Mercedes used for his 17th birthday, which is when you can drive in the UK. And I was like, wow. Danny's from a posh family. I never really knew that much, but I knew he had money. He always had a nice kit. He always had new boots at the start of each season. But I was like, wow, he got a Mercedes. In retrospect, it's maybe a $7,000 car, $10,000 car, something like that. For me, I'm like, oh,
Mercedes
posh,
though, bro.
Posh. Yeah. German.
Yeah. Is there something though going on with as the royal family and the king and the queen are losing power, and that's becoming is these millionaire exits? Mm-hmm. Is this still a bit of a how dare you become that wealthy in the private sector? You're not a royal? Or
no, I certainly don't think with regards to that, but there is definitely skepticism around the monarchy at the moment. And I'm really not sure where I stand on that. One of my friends has a very compelling argument that we should do away with it. Doesn't like the word Your Highness, higher than what. But also, what was it that you were just saying? Like, what have we got if we don't hold on to the culture and the things that people know us for? And I like the pomp and circumstance. When I graduated from Newcastle University, there's this 10-minute procession of different mace bearers, literally wielding medieval weapons, doffing their caps to different people in different sequences in order to show who and where and why. And it's like, this is fucking cool.
Whatever it is, it's still, because America, whether we know it or not, we're hungry for ritual.
Yes.
And we don't have near as much ritual.
It's not established, right? No, there's trees that are older than your country.
Yeah, we're just puppies. I hope that you don't get watered down to where, because y'all have amazing ritual. Laugh, giggle at it or not, do it and appreciate it and go, this is a different place and it's been around a while. Posh. It's class. Okay.
Yeah. A little bit well-to-do.
Okay.